Hello, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today as we jump into foundation software and payroll for construction. As you're well aware, we are representing our all-in-one back office solution. And what we'll do first is a quick intro, and we'll make that short and sweet, and we'll dive right in. So on the left, that's what we're going to be talking about first, foundation software, which is a full construction accounting and PM solution. And on the right, which is our sister company, Payroll for Construction, is a full construction specific payroll service, which Alex will be discussing as well. So there we are. I'm there on the left. Garrett, I'm regional sales manager here at Foundation. And again, I'll be covering the foundation software side. And the much younger, handsome gentleman is Alex Gray, and he will be covering payroll for construction. It's right down the hall. Again, we're one ownership, two products that can work independently or together. And we'll elaborate on that as we progress. So I'm going to jump right in. So I'm going to cover, again, foundation and what we're about. Okay, now foundation targets small to mid-sized construction companies. You know, that might be companies doing a few million in revenue to maybe 100 million in revenue, right? I know it's a wide space, but that's small to mid-sized. A lot of companies that maybe need something better, grew out of QuickBooks, or maybe they're on an old construction system that's not supported or just not sufficient, right? So we're going to handle a lot of different things for them. I'll mention some of the high points. I'm going to keep this super, again, high level. Feel free to ask questions. Ask as many as you need to in the GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll do best to answer those or follow up with you. One-on-one demonstrations, not to overly plug that, is absolutely the best approach if there's an interest. Saying that, we're focusing on accounting, right? But beyond that, much better job costing than a non-construction specific package, which we'll take a look at. Construction payroll, right? Whether you're doing that on your own in-house or potentially, again, using a third party like Payroll for Construction. Union payroll, right? Certified payroll, multiple pay rates, multiple states. Those are some basic things that a lot of companies struggle with that our system does a fantastic job of doing. So job costing, construction payroll, committed cost management, right? Issuing POs and subs, tracking those properly. Basics of accounts payable. Of course, you can pay vendors, cut checks, right? You got lien waivers. There's 1099s, receivables, right? Billing for your work, whether it's AIA or progress billings, T&M billings, unit price for people doing more quantity-driven billings. So the very top is our core classic set of modules that everybody has that uses Foundation, which is roughly about 7,000 contractors. We've been doing this for over 35 years, got over 300 employees. All of our support's done in-house for both Foundation and Payroll for Construction because it's the same support staff, right? Same programming staff, same team. And it's great because it is done by us. That's really unique in our market. So direct support, direct training, direct sales. We offer a number of optional modules, which are kind of listed in the middle here. Some companies have, heavy equipment, right? Some companies maybe manage an inventory. Some companies maybe have a service division. So again, we target small to mid-sized contractors, whether it's labor intensive, doing specific trades, or even potentially just general contractors who sub out the work. Now for start, and I'm just going to, again, do a quick review. Some of the key points. I'm going to jump into our dashboard tool. This is a good, easy way to see some of the things that we're offering in job costing. Not limited to this, we've got probably 40 or so preloaded job cost reports, from very basic, simple reports to some granular details and ideally everything in between. We offer a part of the base system, a drop and drag report writing tool as well. So genuinely simple. If somebody wants to make a custom job report or financial, you have access to do that. So this is a quick summary screen showing our projects that are active right now. Here's what we put in for the contract amount on these jobs, what we billed, estimated and actual cost. We're showing a summary of our profit here from a bottom, standpoint here in the bottom right. Now I can jump right into any specific job, just double click it. But initially here again, we have our estimate, actual, percent complete. I'm just going to initially dive in and see that same data, right? Estimated profit, actual profit, our percentage of completion. But we also note here that our jobs are highlighted in blue. So that means I can click on it. So throughout the system, in both the foundation side and also payroll for construction, you can see blue, you can click on it. That's basically what that means. And I'm going to do that. Maybe we want to jump into one of these jobs further. So I've clicked into this Midwest Turnpike job. And as I mentioned, I think, we have companies that are doing different types of construction, right? Some are civil, electrical, mechanical, painting, drywall, heavy highway, you name it, generals. So here's a summary screen for that job. Here's our profit. There's our contract breakdown with our initial amount, change orders. There's our committed cost summary, right, with our total committed value for any POs and subs, what we've been billed. Well, one of the key points people need is job costing, right? So we can see that this job's got about $200,000, and when I click that cost detail, in this example, we're seeing those costs broken down by cost code. This varies quite a bit from each company as far as if they use cost codes and what they are. Probably half our clients use cost codes or more. Some don't, right? They may just need to track the classics, labor, material, subs, equipment. I'm doing that too, but I'm doing that beneath the cost code level. So if I clicked into earthwork, for example, which has about $28,000 to that cost code or task, I can see that $28,000 for earthwork broken down potentially by labor, material, right, subs, equipment, burden, or any other categories that you can come up with. So again, some companies use cost codes, some companies just use cost classes. If you use cost codes, it doesn't mean you always have to see that level of detail. So again, a lot more details available and less as well, depending on what you're trying to see at that given moment. And you can always keep going. As I click into here, if I click into labor, there's that backup detail, right? There's that payroll detail from the payroll module, the time card info. Notice the burden here. We're showing proper burden from that portion of labor. Your share of FICA, FUTA, SUTA, workers' comp, fringes, general liability insurance, not just the wages, but the full real value. So yeah, concept-wise, pretty simple. If I click, I see the info, right? I clicked into material. There's the invoices that made up that material cost, potentially see the invoices. A lot of our clients attach images so they can go paperless within our solution. And not just for invoices, right? That's a pretty common idea. Attach a scanned image of the invoice in AP when it's entered, but I can attach, you name it, certificates of insurance in AP, maybe, contracts on a job, employee documents on an employee record, right? So just kind of giving you some basic concepts. These are just a little preview of some of the data you have access to. Change orders, another common concept in the product. We track our jobs where they started with its initial contract and estimate. We can see we've had some change orders approved, and we're showing those revised numbers, right? So that revised contracts, including in this example, these approved change orders. I have some pending, maybe rejected. They're tracked. We can see those, but we're not, moving up that final, the final number here, revised contract and estimated cost, unless those change orders are approved, unless you want it to work otherwise. Of course, there's financial summaries. Again, at the end of the day, we're doing the classics, check account, checking savings reconciliations, financials, journal entries, of course, right? Get a lot of referrals from CPAs and CPA firms. But, we do a pretty preloaded financials are also customizable. Again, this is just a quick summary. WIP reports. A lot of companies need these, whether they call them bonding, percent complete, WIP, over under. This is a very traditional looking view of an over under billing report. And again, it's nice because it's ready to go. As long as we have our job set up with our contract and estimate, the rest is ideally just naturally happening, right? The costs are coming in from payroll and AP. We're billing through the system, and then the math does the math. We've got cash flow, payable summaries, receivable summaries. Again, all have drill downs, retainage. If I didn't mention another simple thing to manage within a good construction accounting system like us, we can hold retainage, release retainage. So I'm skimming through this quick, and at least for this initial view. Now, Alex will talk more on the payroll service, and I want to emphasize here again, payroll is part of the base software, right? So a lot of our clients do their payroll in-house, and they continue to do it that way, and they're happy. A lot of companies say, you know what, I don't want to do payroll in-house, or I'm already using like a, ADP or, QuickBooks payroll or whatever, but they need a better job cost construction accounting system. But they say, what's the best option? Well, really, that would be saying also use payroll for construction or payroll service. And what that means is their time cards are here in the system, and we take over, pay their taxes, right? Pay their employees, checks, direct deposits, do their quarterly returns or W-2s. Alex will elaborate on that. Or you use that separate. Hey, I'm not ready for foundation. I'm smaller. I'm going to stick with QuickBooks a while, but I need your special features, multi-state, multi-rate, certified payroll, right? So that the payroll benefits of running certified payroll, providing union reports if needed, right? You can just have basic generic payroll in our system too, but they're there. Regardless if you're using our payroll service or not, the payroll module is supplying both customer levels these valuable features, right? Like running certified reports, whether they're, the classic printed options like this federal form or state-specific forms, city-specific forms, or the electronic options like LCP Tracker. Again, some companies are union. They need union reporting, right? That's available to payroll for construction and foundation customers, right? Now, so the payroll's huge. Job costing is huge. We've got committed cost management, right? So I can issue POs, issue subcontracts, actually create them out of the software. The forms themselves are customizable, right? And I may have mentioned that. We preload forms like this standard template for POs. Great. I could open this, make changes, add our logo, but we're tracking committed costs very efficient. Those can be attached in AP, make sure we're not overbilled. Some companies route their invoices for approval. We have an approval method through document imaging. We have AIA billings, right? So again, these construction billing features, I just keep hammering that because that's, of course, the reason people use us is to get these things that they're struggling with or using spreadsheets or multiple products, doing double entry, right? Here's a standard progress billing entry screen or an AIA where I maybe throw in a quick percentage for a few of these line items. And it's great because it just rolls over. We're going to hold retainage properly, right? We're holding that at 10%. We're going to save it. And we can send these out without committing them to the program, but we do a really efficient job of like doing corrections, tracking those audit trails perfectly, managing that for each company a little bit more effective than otherwise. But just again, another classic form that's needed in the market often. Otherwise, it can just be basic invoices or formal T&M billings because we do a great job in that environment of like gathering labor and cost for the job, marking them up. I should note too, we also integrate with third-party estimating tools. We own a few estimating products, McCormick and The Edge, but we integrate with any other third-party product or even Excel to import estimates when the job starts. We have full project management features. So again, in addition to the classics like balance sheets, right, income statements, journal entries, bank recs, it's all of those other, valuable items. Mobile, right? And I'll kind of turn it over to Alex here in a minute. We have our mobile application, okay? So let me give a quick screenshot of this, which again is applicable to companies using pure foundation software and our built-in payroll module, and companies that are using only payroll for construction, or for the clients of ours that do both, that use both of our solutions. So there's a couple different options here. Employees can just enter their own time, just key them in. Hey, I'm Joe. I worked on this job for 8 hours, or clock in and out, which this case it thinks I'm Greg because that's my guess what my login is. So it says, all right, Greg, what'd you do? I worked on this job and I did demolition and go. Some companies track equipment, some don't. That can just be an optional field. We can manage that directly from their phone, tablet, whether it's Android, Apple. We can lock in a geolocation where they were. Others have more of like the foreman or something like that do the time entry for the group, right? Where they'd see all their employees or their crew. They can key the hours in per specific cost code and kind of do a mass entry for their crew, or the individuals can. What happens is either way, that data goes through an approval process. It ultimately goes to the payroll module once it's approved, and we get our final review here before payroll is truly processed. Again, there were probably a few different times I've said it, whether you're doing your own payroll in-house or using our payroll service. Saying that, I'm going to blow this up again and kick this over to Alex to talk more on specifically, right, payroll for construction. Alex, you good? You on the mic, ready to go?
Yep. Thank you, Garrett. Great information, great stuff there. All right. So, like Garrett had mentioned, payroll for construction, either we can integrate directly within your foundation database, or we can be a standalone payroll service. And like foundation software, we're only working with the construction industry. We're a payroll service just for contractors. So payroll for construction is powered by foundation software, but we can be used with any other accounting system. So we have a direct QuickBooks integration tool. We've built integrations between accounting systems like Sage, Timberline, other accounting products out there. We can build an integration tool. As we know, we're handling your payroll, but still need that full payroll information, those labor costs to be included with your full accounting report. So if you're using us integrated with foundation, great. All of your data is going to stay in one spot with your payroll and all your accounting numbers. But if you're using that separate accounting system, we can create an integration between your two systems. We process payroll in all 50 states, and we specialize in union, government, prevailing wage payroll, where we're able to set up rates, tables behind the scenes, pull in those rates that we have these guys working on these jobs, whether they're union, commercial, government, prevailing wage jobs. And we're still at the core of us a full service payroll provider. So we're going to pay your employees via check or direct deposit. We are going to handle the tax filings and the payments for the weekly, the monthly, the quarterlies, the annualies for federal, state, local authorities, FUTA and SUTA, as well as the distribution of W-2s at year end. So with our service, if you are using a currently running payroll in-house or using a separate provider like ADP or Paychex, we're able to update your pay history inside Payroll for Construction Foundation, whatever you're using with us, where when it comes time for year end, you're only receiving one W-2 from Payroll for Construction. Our system is also going to automate reports like job costing, the certified payroll report that Garrett had shown you there, those union reports, and for those that are needing EEO minority compliance reporting, those are also going to be automated, generated by default inside your system based on those payroll runs. So the next slide here, what does payroll for construction actually do? So we're going to provide you that construction specific reporting. Again, whether you're running payroll in foundation in-house or you're using our payroll service, these reports are going to be available to you at any point in time inside of your database, no additional charge for the reporting. So we're going to be able to generate reports for those working across multiple states, going to have different tax requirements for those jobs across the multiple states, or those contractors that are working in states like Ohio, Kentucky, where each locality is going to have different requirements that we need to track inside the system. Able to set those up on the job records for the employees, track those multiple localities, and provide you reports that are going to be automated, what's going on in those different localities and or states. We're going to be able to automate pay rates for those working prevailing wage jobs. So we know that you say, hey, my employee on a commercial job, we're getting him $15 an hour, but we're working a prevailing wage job for that trade that he's working for us. We need to pay him above scale. We're able to set up these tables behind the scenes. Once we're coding hours to those jobs, saying what those employees are doing on the job site for us, the system by default is going to be able to look at the above scale pay, pull that in for that employee's record for that job that we're coding time to, and also generate those certified reports for us. Fringe calculations, just like with those prevailing wage jobs, those that have unions as well, we're able to calculate fringe tables, set them up behind the scenes of what we need to do for maybe you have a prevailing wage cash fringe that's going to the employee. It's going to some sort of fringe benefit group. We're able to set up that table behind the scenes, how we need that fringe to be calculated. Is it going to the employee? Is it going to that group? The rate it needs to be calculated at, tie that to the job, and its system will track those fringes for us by default. Staying on the topic of fringes here, with those prevailing wage fringe, we also have the ability of doing a reduction factor, or what we like to call a fringe credit. So those that may be providing their employees $7 an hour of benefits for those fringe benefits, but that government contract saying, hey, we're requiring you to have $12 an hour per this job. We are able to set up that fringe reduction factor, reduce it by the 5 in between the 12 and the 7, help save those companies that are or that may have that prevailing wage fringe or need to set up that fringe reduction factor inside their system. As well as the workers' compensation here. We can track this even by type of work performed. So track it, set up those different classes, what those guys are going to be doing inside the system. We see for roofing companies, when a guy is up on top of the roof, his workers' comp rate is going to be different than versus when he's on the ground. Can track those by the different classes, by the type of work that these employees are actually performing for us. Can even set up caps to what we want actually exposed to that workers' compensation policy. Then in our reports, able to break it down into even the earn code to see what's going on with that workers' compensation policy. Then once that construction specific payroll is completed, we're going to have that construction specific reporting to go with it. So like Garrett had shown you inside the system, the certified payrolls going to be created for you by default based on what was going on with that pay period going against those prevailing wage jobs. We have print versions as well as electronic versions for those clients that are working in states like California that you're uploading online to the LCP tracker, or those maybe working with the DIR as well. We're able to create electronic versions where enter some basic information for that pay period, what jobs we need to generate them for, going to create that electronic XLM file for us automatically based on payroll that we had run through the system. Going to be the same for our minority compliance, our EEO reporting, have print and electronic versions as well. Those also going to be automated for us based on what our payroll run is, what's going on with those employees, put in a basic criteria, generate the report by default, saving you time, not having to manually create these at the office. With us being that construction specific payroll, we're going to have more detailed job costing reports to provide you full clarity of what's going on labor-wise on these construction jobs. So our job, labor, and burden cost reports going to be generated by default for you. And because we know in construction, hey, we could say that I'm paying my guy Rick $15 an hour, but with all of that burden, the FUTA, the SUTA, workers' comp, all of that taken into account, our employees are going to cost us more towards $18.50 an hour. These reports will take all of that burden into account for you, generate them by default to give you that more clear and detailed job costing. Also going to generate those workers' comp reports for you. What we had set up class-wise based on the different types of work performed in the system, can even set up those caps, what we want exposed to the policy, then run the workers' comp reports for the periods that we need, give us that full breakdown what's going on with the policy. Going to be the same thing for 401k. Those companies that have a 401k provider that they're making payments to for those employees can set up deductions on the employee record, what we need to take out of the paycheck for that 401k provider, then automatically deducted from the employee's paycheck, going to provide us a nice clean report, what we need to pay 401k wise to that provider for that pay period. Also, any of those clients that have things like garnishments, like child support, alimony, tax garnishments, bankruptcy, we're able to set up and track those on the employee record. And with the payroll service, payroll for construction, we can even handle those court-ordered garnishments on your behalf if a client wanted to. But if you also said, hey, garnishments take me 5 minutes to do, the big pain for me is the full payroll and the filing of the taxes, you can choose to keep those garnishments in-house as well. And the last report that's going to be generated for you is those union reports. So like Garrett had jumped into, what we need deduction fringe-wise based on those unions, going to be able to set up and track inside the system, give us a nice clean report broken out by trade inside that union, what's going on deduction and fringe-wide in those union reports that are created automatically for us. And at the end of it, at our core, we are still going to be able to handle those traditional payroll service items like your full service providers, your ADP, your paychecks. So we're going to pay your employees via check, direct deposit. We're going to pay your taxes, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterlies, the annualies. And we're going to file those in your name. So what we like to say is, hey, once payroll hours are entered into the system, they're reviewed, they're looking good to go, we could click submit, walk away, our payroll would be taken care of that week. Our employees are going to be paid, our taxes are going to be filed for us and paid on time and correctly. And as well, we're going to have those year-end services, the W-2 filings, the distributions, as well as some other year-end services we provide at Payroll for Construction. And what else makes payroll construction different than other service providers out there? We're going to have that direct integration with QuickBooks and other accounting programs. So those clients that, hey, take a look at foundation software, maybe you're not quite there yet, it's not a full fit for you, you're still using that QuickBooks in-house, we can create that direct integration between whatever accounting system you may be using at your company. Again, our only focus is construction. You're going to see familiar language throughout your system that's related only to the construction industry. Our tax team of professionals is going to be keeping up with the changing formats of certified payrolls, the different tax requirements, what's going on in the construction industry wise. Our team of professionals is going to be all in-house. Our team here that is available to you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we're only dealing with construction clients. With foundation and payroll for construction, we have a time card import feature. So those that look at our mobile application, and even though it syncs directly into foundation or payroll for construction, you may already be using another mobile provider at your company. We do have the ability to import CSV files into payroll for construction for those that have their own mobile applications in-house. But again, like Garrett had shown you, we do offer our own mobile application for field and time card entry. And at our core, payroll for construction is going to be that web-based access, anytime from anywhere with an internet connection. So very easy to log into the system, enter that payroll for information. And for those that, hey, their employees are all direct deposit, or they want to have their employees be able to view their online pay stub history, we do have an online stub portal for your employees to receive their pay stubs electronically, so they're not coming to you each week asking you to print out a new pay stub out of the system. We can provide them online access to their current pay stubs as well as their previous. And with payroll for construction, how a payroll is processed. You're going to log in online. You're either going to enter, import time cards, or if you're using our mobile application, sync them from the mobile application. Then that user is going to have the ability to review the time card entry, see how those paychecks are being calculated through our pre-check registers, a number of reports available to you to run to give you that snapshot of what your payroll run is going to look like before we ever touch it for processing. Then once it's good to go ahead, submit payroll with a click of a button. Our team's going to take care of the rest. We're going to file those taxes on your behalf, then run the checks, get those direct deposits prepared to hit the guys' paycheck bank accounts on payday. So to recap here, software and service all in one place. So foundation software, like Garrett had walked you guys through that high-level overview, it's going to be that full job cost accounting system built specifically for contractors. So going to see that language that you're familiar with seeing in the construction industry throughout our system. Then with that, we do have payroll for construction, which is a standalone payroll service or can be integrated directly into Foundation's accounting platform. And we are Foundation here. So we're powered by Foundation's powerful payroll and job costing modules. So we are that payroll service where we're only focusing on construction. And again, both products can be purchased and run separately, or they can be run together depending on your specific needs. With them running together, we're keeping payroll and accounting all in one place, helping automate, streamline those processes for those that are in the office, those employees. And both products here going to be accessible online, supported by our team in-house, and they're built specifically for contractors.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, no, you're good. Did you want to, basically just, we're typically wrapping up to a point of just, letting everybody know if they have questions. I'm kind of scanning through those now. Time-wise, we like to try to keep things pretty efficient to the time that we had allotted. So Alex and I will reach out to people that had attended that had questions. A recording of this will also be shot out to anybody who has registered, whether they attended or not. So you'll have a copy of this to watch whenever or share. But honestly, we're pretty easygoing. We're not too hard pushing with things. But if there is an interest and anybody wants to check out Payroll for Construction or Foundation or just has questions, by all means, reach out to either of us anytime. Our numbers are listed there, our emails are listed there. But yeah, hopefully you guys found this educational and had at least at a minimum know what we do and to see if there's a potential fit. Alex, anything from you before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, anyone that's interested in talking about payroll for construction in more detail, please reach out at any time. Hold quick 30-minute demonstrations over the Zoom platform. I know Garrett holds his over the platform as the same, so willing to help anyone who has questions about either service.
Awesome. Sounds good. Hey, thanks everybody for attending. And like I said, we'll follow up with an email with the recording link, and we'll go from there. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.